All right, so let's say that we did a data example, and in our data example, we figured out that the minimum value was 18, that the first quartile was 25, that the median was 30, that the third quartile was 31, and then the maximum was 45. Okay. Now, this is more that you need to figure out where the outliers are. But I also wanted to kind of emphasize how to make sure we've got the idea on sort of how to show outliers if we made a box and whisker. Okay. So, to figure out where potential outliers are, numbers that are just super weird for the list of data. We're gonna come and we can write, like I said, we can take these notes right on the back of this blank paper, since the back is totally blank. Yeah, we're just taking some notes right now to make sure we understand the outlier part. Okay. So if we're gonna figure out outliers, the first thing we do is we do that Q3 minus Q1, which has that IQR, or it's that, is it inter? Yeah, it's inter, it's between quartiles. I was going to say inner quartile, but no, it's inter quartile range. Okay. So inner quartile range, the difference between the two quartiles, 31 minus 25, 6. That's the length of the box on the box and whisker graph. If we were going to make a box and whisker graph out of this data, maybe I would start that at 10 and, I don't know, count by fives. Let's see, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. When I throw the first quartile on here and I throw the third quartile on here and the median, the box Q1 to Q3 is the inner quartile range. So the length of the box. Now, what do we do next to try to figure out where outliers would lay? What do I do with that inner quartile range? Multiply by 1.5. Yeah, so 6 times 1.5. That's the constant. That's the number we use every time, no matter how big or small your inner quartile range is. 6, the number times 1.5, IQR, times 1.5 is 9. And so here's what that means. If I'm more than 9 units away from the end of the box, I'm an outlier. Anything that's 9 units away from either end is too far away from the box to be considered normal. We would like to calculate those kind of boundaries. So I take my quartile 1 minus that 9, And my quartile 3 plus 9 and those tell us where the boundaries are going to be for the outliers. I specifically did this with some nice kind of small numbers today so that, you know, we didn't get all messed up in our head over the calculations with a lot of decibels and stuff. Okay, so 25 minus 9 is 14, which means any number less than 14 is an outlier. On the other side, 31 plus 9 is 40. Anything over 40 is an outlier. Okay. That is what I'm going to ask you to be able to do for me when we do the standards test in a couple classes. The generation of the first quartile and the third quartile and the median, all of that stuff comes from the calculator. Yes? 45. 25 minus 9 is, yes, it is 16. Very good. Thank you. Sorry about that. I'd like to pretend that I make mistakes on purpose, but I don't. I just make them. Okay. So 25 minus 9 is 16. So anything less than 16 is an outlier. Thanks for fixing that for me. Always fix my mistakes, please. I am too old. I get embarrassed a little bit, but not enough. And I'm definitely not going to be like, I can't believe that kid told me I was wrong. Of course he told me, because I'm wrong. 25 minus 9 is 16. Anything less than 16 is an outlier. Anything over 40 is an outlier. I'm going to ask you to be able to make those statements for me on your first standards test. Okay? This is really the only part that you need to kind of know. I mean, I don't know. Like the other things, you know, the calculator gives you a lot of these things. You have to know how to put the data in the calculator. You have to understand the box and whisker. Oh, we didn't finish it. Let's finish the box and whisker. So, when you're making a box and whisker, my minimum was 18. I don't know why I changed color. I didn't mean to change color. My minimum was 18. Come on, stupid thing. And it's not an outlier, so we're good. We just kind of keep doing it. My maximum is 45. And that is an outlier because it's bigger than 40. So I'm honestly not 100% sure of this. I don't know if we connect to the outlier boundary. I don't know. You know what? We're just going to do this for now. That works for me. That's good enough for what we're doing. Just, you mark it with a star because it's an outlier. So you're going to have to specifically tell me where the boundaries are for an outlier. And if your minimum or your maximum on your box and whisker happens to be an outlier, you should mark it with a star. I marked the 45 with a star because it's bigger than 40. It's an outlier. Okay. When we do this on our standards test, which I keep calling, they're tests, but it feels more like a quiz. When we do this on the standard assessment, we'll have a nice set of numbers to work with. The numbers we collect in class, definitely a lot messier, definitely a lot more challenging to make the box and whisker, more challenging to enter the data. When we get to the assessment part, if you've got the procedure down, then you'll be fine with everything we're going to do. Okay. Questions? Like I said, I felt like that wasn't super clear, or that would be what you would be looking for more information about, and I didn't know if my written notes were very clear, so I'll stop this.